This episode was brought to you by the number 42.
Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is John Fillmore and welcome to another episode of the Pokemon Analyst. Now, before I actually get started, you might realize that it's a little bit different setup than I usually have. I don't have the headphones, I don't have the hats, I'm not even in my room. I don't have anything. Anyway, no, the thing is, I'm actually at a friend's house for vacation. And I'm going to be staying here for a couple more days, or maybe not, it really depends on when I upload this, but from this date, which is actually the 22nd of July, I'll still be here for like 2 or 3 more days, but that's fine. So I don't really have anything except, my internal microphone from my computer, which is literally angled right towards my face, so it's as loud as possible, and these little headphones, because, well, they're not really headphones, but they're not earbuds either, so they're something. Anyway, not important. I'll do with what I have, and we'll make do with it. So, what we have right now is this team, right, which we've made in the last few weeks, right, and it's actually been quite successful. We've had a good team, very well-rounded, and it didn't really require a lot of tuning up in order to be a really good team. But right now, today at least, we're going to be starting on a new team, right? No, we're not going to throw this team away, but we are going to be starting with a new team. And it's going to be focused around Sandstorm. Now, what is Sandstorm? Now, Sandstorm is a relatively common weather effect. You can find it in certain routes in games. That would be Route 111. In, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, and also Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. You'll find on Route 111. You'll find a desert there. You can also use it with TM37 Sandstorm, right? Which a lot of Pokemon can learn. You can use the Sandstream ability, right? Much rarer than Sandstorm, but very handy. And it lasts 5 turns. And let's see what it does. So all non-rock, ground, or steel type Pokemon actually get damaged each turn, right? Get a tiny bit of chip damage. So if I'm correct, then it automatically takes out anything with a Focus Sash, right? So at least the Focus Sash doesn't work anymore. The rock type Pokemon's special defense is increased by 50%. That's actually really good. Solar Beam's power is reduced. I didn't even know it did that. Synthesis, Morning Sun, and Moonlight recover 25 of their users' HP, and the Pokemon with Sand Veil ability get their evasiveness boosted by 20%, right? I usually don't use Sand Veil ability, but oh well. Then you have Sand Rush ability, which is a double in speed for any Pokemon that has it. Sand Force ability have their ground, steel, and rock type moves increased by 1 stage, which is really quite nice. And Weather Ball's attacks is doubled, and it becomes a rock type, right? So it's mostly based around rock, but it gives a lot of support for ground and steel types as well. So I've already kind of put a sort of semi-team together, right? And it looks like this. So I'll explain what I do with these guys, right? So we have here the Tyranitar, right? In essence, this is our core, right? Well, technically, I mean, the core that we had in our previous team was the Mega Gardevoir, right? This time it's going to be Sandstorm, right? This is like literally what ties our team together, right? And that's why I have the Tyranitar. So, in essence, this is like the embodiment of Sandstorm. Why? Well, it's a rock dark type, right? It works well with Sandstorm, and the real clincher, it has its ability Sandstream, right? So any Pokemon that switches in, or when this Pokemon switches in, it summons a Sandstorm that lasts 5 turns, right? Now you could give it something like a Smooth Rock, right? Which increases the Sandstorm by 3 turns, but I'm gonna keep it with an Air Balloon, and I'll explain why in a sec. Right, so I'll give it a Rock Slide. Well, it's a rock type, so, Rock Slide is one of the most powerful rock types out there. If I'm correct, it's second to Stealth Rock, right? And Stealth Rock is quite powerful, yes, but it only has 85% accuracy. So usually I don't really go for the Stealth Rock, or the Stealth Rock. Wait, is it Stealth Rock? No. What am I talking about? Stone Edge. Sorry, Stone Edge. I'm talking about Stone Edge. Stone Edge, so is a little bit less accurate, but it's more powerful. But I like the Rock Slide because it's a coverage move, and it's stab, so that's quite handy. I'm putting the Ice Punch in there, and you might think, okay, it knows Ice Punch, and yes, actually, it knows a lot of moves. Here, if you look at this, it has Aerial Ace, it has Aqua Tail, it has Avalanche, Blizzard for crying out loud, Crunch, Dark Pulse, Double Edge, Dragon Dance, Dragon Pulse, Dragon Tail, Earthquake, Earth Power, Facade, Fire Blast, Flamethrower, Focus Blast, Foul Play. It has Hidden Power, Fire and Ice, Hone Claws, Outrage, Power Up Punch, Protect, well, of course, Protect, Rock Polish, Rock Slide, Seismic Toss, Shadow Claw. It has a Superpower. It has the Surf for crying out loud. It has Thunder, Thunder Punch, Thunder Wave, Thunder Bolt, Toxic, Assurance, Captivate, Bulldoze, Dynamic Punch. It has Fury Cutter. It has Giga Impact. Okay, a whole bunch of other hidden powers. Incinerate, Iron Defense, Iron Tail, Mud Slap, Retaliate, Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb actually is a pretty good move on this one because it lowers your opponent's speed by 1 stage. Spite, Sunny Day, Swagger, Torment, Uproar, Water Pulse, Whirlpool. It has an incredible moveset. But I'm going to put the Ice Punch in there because it is actually a rock type, so it's weak to ground, so the Ice Punch will work very well. And you got the Stealth Rock as well, just to set up on any Talonflames or anything that might show its face. And of course the Protect, right? And then you got this as your EV spread. And I gave it an impish nature just to increase its defense a tiny bit. I don't need a special attack, although you could make a pretty good mixed attacker as well, right? You give it enough, you give it enough EVs, and it actually, okay, sure, now it has a minus in its nature, but it could actually be a pretty good mixed attacker. So really, you can do a whole lot with Tyranitar. And especially its special defense gets increased by 50%, so that's also quite good, and that's why I added the nature into defense, so now it's hard on its defense side, but also on its special defense side, and it hits like a ton of bricks. So in other words, it's just very powerful, and also a pretty big tank, right? Now, the Mega I chose as the Mega Garchomp, right? Now, I was kind of juggling between, okay, do you want to have a Mega Garchomp, or do you want to have an Excadrill, right? So let's pull up the Excadrill for a sec. There you go. Oh, no, that's a Q. I meant an A. There we go. Excadrill. Excadrill has Sand Rush, right? Sand Rush, if an active Sandstorm, this Pokemon speed doubles. Well, its speed is kind of lame at the moment. I mean, it's doable. It's doable. Don't get me wrong, but at level 50, right? At level 50, it has, sorry for the shake, at level 50, it has a 108 speed, right? Which is still doable, but with Sand Rush ability and the Tyranitar, you increase it by 108, so it becomes 216. Almost no Pokemon is that fast, right? Unless, of course, it has priority, then yeah, of course, it's going to be quicker, but that's not the point. So it's very, very fast with the Sand Rush ability, and it also has a pretty good attack, right? It is really good in its attack. So you give it full EVs in speed, and then probably also in HP, because, well, you're not going to use the special attack anyway, because it sucks, and the defense and special defense aren't that great either. And it's not a rock type, so it doesn't get the boost in its special defense. But even so, this is very common to have the Tyranitar and the Excadrill, right? So you give something like an Earthquake or a Horn Drill. You give it something like an Iron Head. Iron Head would work. It can also know a couple of fighting types, so you give it something like a Brick Break or something like that, and then Protect, of course, and blah blah blah, and then maybe a Life Orb, and it hits very hard and very fast. But I'm not going to do that, right? I want to have the Garchomp because it is my favorite Pokemon, and I've never really had a good Garchomp team, right? So that's why I gave this guy an Air Balloon, so that what I can do, I can send out the Tyranitar, Sandstream ability activates, I can send out the Garchomp at the same time, Mega Evolve, gets Sand Force ability, and then it gets Earthquake, the Swords Dance, the Outrage, and the Protect. Swords Dance, I mean, look at this guy. It already has 170 base stat for its attack, right? And then put full EVs into attack and then speed as well. Give it Jolly Nature to be as fast as possible. Level 58 now has 158 speed, if I'm correct, which is still pretty fast. So then you have the Swords Dance to increase that even more, right? And if if you get the chance, the Outrage just is a good stab move, and the Earthquake as well. And if I want to, I can automatically on the first turn hit an incredibly powerful Earthquake, and this guy won't get hit because of the Air Balloon, right? So that's then my ground type and my Mega. Then I have the Ferrothorn, which is again the same one we had last time, but it works very well because the Sandstorm will chip away at your opponent, and then you can use the Leech Seed, Gyro Ball, Curse, all that other stuff, which like we used last time. Use the leftovers. It does not get affected by Sandstorm because it's a Steel type, and it has the Iron Barbs, right? So in other words, it just it's even easier for it to take down your opponent because of the Sandstorm ability, right? And then I have the Togekiss with the Safety Goggles. Now, Safety Goggles for any Hail or Sandstorm team is important because you can't all have Ground, Rock, or Steel type moves or Steel type Pokemon on your team, right? You'll have some glaring weaknesses, right? So that's why I did the Togekiss with the Safety Goggles. Should they send out something that I don't really like, right, with my leads Tyranitar and Garchomp, then I can quickly switch out the Tyranitar. I can go for the Togekiss, right, which is, well, not immune, but very resistant to any fighting types, which these guys are not resistant to at all. Since this guy is a Rock Dark, it's 4 times weak, and this guy's 4 times resistant, so I can switch this guy quickly, and then with the Safety Goggles, it doesn't really do anything. Plus, it's also a Flying type, Flying Fairy, so it works very well with my Garchomp, right? You got the Air Slash, the Thunder Wave to follow me in the Protect. The Air Slash and Thunder Wave are, of course, a Paraflinch set, which works very well, right? And then I gave it Serene Grace in order to tie everything nicely together. Now, the HP, I put full EVs into here. I'm kind of following what it says here. Well, a little bit. I put full into defense, gave it a Calm Nature. I don't really need it to hit that hard. It still has pretty decent special attack, but I didn't really need to, put any other EVs. Well, maybe some of these, but that's fine. Sorry about that. Very unprofessional. Sorry about that. And that... Wow. Man, I just ate. I shouldn't have done that before. Wow. Okay. Sorry about that. Please forgive me. So then you got the Garchomp, which is, hits hard, and this guy can just take the hits from the defensive side, and just use Follow Me or Thunder Wave or anything like that just to slow him down. And then this guy can come in and just sweep with its incredibly powerful attacks, right? So that's what I have for now. I'm still working on the last two, but this is a possibility of what you might actually use. This is kind of a little bit of an unused team, right? Because the Mega Garchomp you barely see at all, and it's usually the Excadrill that you see. But I like the Garchomp, and it's really just my element, so I'm going to work with it and see what I can do, right? And we'll pull something off, and we'll have some fun while doing it, right? So that's what I have so far. If you guys have any comments or questions, or you think like, that would be an awesome thing to add in it, then please do leave a comment below in the vid, and I will get to it as quickly as I can. I'm still kind of looking at what else could I do, because when making a team like this, like when we first, nope, not this one, this is my, here we go. When we made this team, right, we were working with this Gardevoir, and we were kind of building around the Gardevoir, right? And you kind of need to change your mind now. You change your view of things, because your Tyranitar is not your core. Well, it's not your well, it is, but it's really Sandstorm that's your core. So you can't really build around your Tyranitar. You really need to build around what Tyranitar represents, which is a little bit different. So you can't really first say, okay, Tyranitar, then we'll put a support, and then we'll add more, and then we'll add more support. So it really depends on what type of team you're building and how you're going to build it, right? So it's a little bit more difficult, but this is kind of what I have so far. I know I had to keep it a little bit short, but when I get back home, then I should be able to do a little bit more in depth. But that's what I have for now. Other than that, I don't really have much else to report, so thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, then again, like, subscribe, it really does help me. So also, if you want to share it with a friend, that would be highly appreciated. So if you want to do that, I would love you to bits. Other than that, again, don't have much to report, so this is John Fillmore signing off and wishing everyone on that opposite side of the screen a very pleasant day. Goodbye.